What's up, everybody? My name is Carlos.
My name is Alejandra.
And we are going to do our second podcast ever. So we're trying to do this once a month. So if you all can support us, it'll really help us feel a lot better about this. Because last time, I think we got like 3 views. So give us more than that, please. Anybody watching, thank you for watching us.
Yeah.
Alejandra, what did you think of the first one that we did last time?
It was a little rough, but we can work on it.
Why do you say it was a little rough?
I felt like I was very tense.
I was very tense too.
Yeah.
So it's all good. This is what it is. You know, the first time that you do things, you're not going to be as good at it. And then as we get better, hopefully we'll get more entertaining for you guys, and we'll especially bring you guys value. That's what we really, really want during the podcast, is we want to bring you all value.
Yep.
So Alejandra, what do you have going on right now? What's popping with you?
So one of the things that I have going on is prepping for my taxes. So right now it's my first year as a 1099. So I will be trying to figure all that out. Right now, one of the things that I'm trying to focus on is buying a house. So I'm trying to prep for my taxes for that so I can be able to qualify.
Okay, what does that mean when you're trying to prep for it? Like how does that work?
So I'm working on profit and loss every month, making sure that I have my budget all figured out. That way when I go see the tax accountant, I already have everything ready to go. And I don't write everything off.
Yep, exactly. And one of the things that you all can do, and you can do it, Alejandra, and of course anybody watching who has a 1099, and I only know this because I've made this mistake when I do taxes, is you can actually, before they actually file them, so they can give you a rough draft, right? Mm-hmm. And when they give you that rough draft, take it to your mortgage lender and let them look at it and let them tell you what they would qualify you for before you actually submit it. And that is going to kind of give you a better idea of, hey, maybe I could not write off so many things, even though they're legitimate write-offs. You know, sometimes you just pay more taxes so that you can qualify for more house.
Yeah.
The first time I ever did it, I qualified for $120,000.
Wow.
Dollar house, $120,000 house. And then my buddy Derek Polder was like, dude, it looks like you didn't make any money, man.
Yeah.
You know, and then so that was a mistake that I made, and so I had to wait a whole another year to be able to buy a house.
And
so
that's
that was
exactly what I don't want to do.
Cool. Yep. So everybody watching, if you are a 1099, right before you actually file your taxes, your rough draft, make sure that you go to the lender and let them review it. Okay.
So right now, you have a project going on, right? You just finished a project?
I did, yeah. So you guys will see it right now in my market update when I go over the market. But right now, my feeling with the market is that the next 8 to 12 months is going to be an unbelievable opportunity to purchase properties. I still believe that right now. And so I put my money where my mouth is. I bought a property right at the beginning of last month. We just finished renovating that property here like a couple weeks ago. And so that now we're gonna probably put it on the market for rent, and I'm gonna try to buy as many properties as I can for rent. So that's something that I'm doing. So if you guys are on the fence about buying real estate, this is the time. Like, this is the time to do it. I'm doing it. Is it gonna work out for sure? Who knows? Nobody knows what the market's gonna do.
Yeah, but it doesn't hurt to build up the portfolio.
And when you look at a 10-year span of anything in real estate related, it always does well. Even if you were that dummy who bought in 2006, and I say dummy because by 2015, you were in profit. And by 2020, you were like 2x. Yeah. And by 2024, you were like 4x, right? So that's what's going on with me.
So what's going on with the market?
All right, let's look at the market. So here we'll pull up, this is where we look at all the stats for the market. So the first thing that we're looking at is sales price. So sales price finally started kicking up in December, which is really interesting. And the reason why it's interesting is because one of the things that happened in December that hasn't happened in like over 10 years is the amount of transactions closed. So look, prices went up from 340 to 351. This is a median price, right? But check this out. Closed sales. We had 1,010 closed sales in December. And the reason why that's crazy is if you look back and we track back, we haven't had that slow of a month in closings. Like we almost had it in 2015. We had 1,011, but we still beat about one property, right? Really, we haven't had less than 1,000 10 transactions since January of 2011.
But I mean, just this month we saw it pick up, right?
Yes, we did. And here's the thing that the reason why I'm saying I'm buying properties is what happened in 2011, everybody. You guys remember what happened to the real estate market in 2011?
No.
So 2006, we hit a top. The market crashes all the way from 2006 all the way down to about 2012. So 2012 was a year after 2011. The market went on a run, on a crazy run since then. Look at this. 2012, we hit bottom and we go all the way. We went on a crazy run. So if you bought a property in 2011, right? 2011, you paid $137,887, and that property today is worth $350,000.
I mean, you at least tripled your money, right?
Tripled your money. That's only if you paid full cash for it.
Yeah.
If you put 3.5% down, or if you did anything less than 50%, you almost 6x your money, probably 10x your money at that point, right? So unbelievable opportunity right now. So this is where we are in the market right now, everybody. So if you are on the fence about buying a house, this is the time to jump in.
And call us.
Yeah, of course. And definitely call us. Alejandra is an unbelievable agent. Call her, call me, call Wild Real Estate. We only do a lot of deals here, and that means that we have a lot of negotiating experience, right? We negotiate a lot of transactions. So here's something about the market that I want to show you everybody though. So there's a guy that I follow named Lance Lambert. And by the way, this is on X, and this is the Wild Real Estate profile. So you guys should follow us for sure. But I follow this guy named Lance. You also should follow him. He was talking about how Opendoor, look, 10 months after purchase, the average home bought by Opendoor in June 22 incurred a loss of $24,000. In contrast of a gain of $49,000 for the average Opendoor home bought in February of 2023. What the hell happened? What do you think? What do you think happened here? So how did Opendoor lose a lot of money in 2022, and now they made a lot of money in February of 2023 when the market was pretty much in a lull? How did these guys make so much money here, but they didn't make so much money here? Do you know the answer to this?
They're probably buying properties a lot lower than what they're listed at or off the market.
Yes, exactly. That's one of the reasons. The other reason why this is happening is because they were buying during an uptrend. When you buy during the uptrend, you never know when the downtrend is going to happen, right? And so now in 2023, they're buying during a downtrend. And of course, if anybody that bought in 2023, you probably got harassed by somebody telling you, this is the stupid time to buy a house. That is so dumb that you're buying a house right now. The interest rates are so high. Well, Opendoor, billion-dollar company, disagrees with you. And institutional investors disagree with you, right? And so this is just something I thought was really interesting and funny, because everybody right now doesn't want to buy a house. Everyone's scared. And look, the people with the money, they're not scared. They're buying all the houses.
Yeah.
And they're making money, right?
Very true.
So Alejandra, you're obviously a veteran. You are an expert in VA loans. Question for you. What happens if a veteran buys a house and is deployed right away?
Well, for VA loans, when you purchase a property and you end up getting deployed right away, it's not really a problem. When you end up purchasing it, you don't have a choice whether or not you end up deploying. So if you know you're about to deploy but you need to buy a property, go for it. I mean, there's not going to be a right time to buy, or why are you going to wait for the market to go down? If you end up having the opportunity to purchase, go for it.
And so what would they do if they leave and they just bought a house? What would be their options?
They have the option of leaving their family to live there, or renting it out, or even selling it if they wanted to.
So is there any issue with them renting it out? I know the VA is an owner-occupant loan, and you can't really buy investment properties with it. What is that? Was there any repercussions for that?
There's not, because technically you're deployed. There's nothing you can do about it. I know that there's a time frame that you have to live in the property before you end up renting it out. But if you have orders stating that you have to be deployed, there's no choice that you have there. You don't want to leave the property vacant and leave money just sitting there.
Amazing. Okay, and then also another thing is the assumable. Can you talk about the assumable piece of it as well?
Yeah.
in case, let's say somebody overpays, right? Let's say they overpay.
So let's say they end up overpaying and they have to get deployed in a couple months. What's going to happen is whatever rate they had at that moment, they can pretty much get it assumed by the other person. They don't have to be military. It can just be anyone. The only problem is if the appraisal comes in or if the property value is not what it is at the moment, they will have to pay cash difference. So let's say I bought a property at 400 and I only have my loan at 350. The person purchasing the property, if we're going to sell it to them at 400,000 at what I bought it for, they have to pay the difference in cash.
Got it. Okay, but it's still an advantage because it's a way out. Although, if you guys buy a property, in all reality, it's an asset, right? And assets, as I showed you guys earlier, always goes up. So it's better to always just hold on to as many assets as possible.
Exactly.
And real estate is the best asset you can possibly own. Of course, there's other good assets too, but real estate is like the mecca of assets.
Yeah.
Especially when you put zero down. That's ridiculous.
I know.
That's ridiculous.
That's what I'm trying to buy.
Nice. Awesome.
So, so you've lived here in Tucson for all your life. So one of the things that we have that's really good is raspados.
Ooh.
So what are your top 3, do you think?
All right, so here are my top 3 raspados, and that's Mexican shaved ice for all of the people that don't speak Spanish, right? And a lot of times they have actual real fruit in them, and they're unbelievable. All right, so here are my top 3 raspados here in Tucson, Arizona. So number 3 is Sonoran Delights. Now this is a place that's on Congress. It's actually near the Mercado Agustin there. They actually have a nice little taco shop there. That's my number 3. It's awesome, great place. My number 2 is Marimar, which Marimar, they used to have a candy store, but now it's a raspado spot. It's on 6th Avenue, which if you know, 6th Avenue is the best place for Mexican food. So go on 6th Avenue for all your Mexican food. But Marimar has great raspados. It's a small little spot there, but it's excellent. And then my number 1 spot is Funland. Funland, this is on Irvington. The reason I like this place is not only do they have awesome raspados, but they have this watermelon with a bunch of tamarindo, a bunch of things in there. And that place is prime. So go check it out.
Well, I love raspados. I think my favorite is probably Funland, for sure. Yeah. What interesting facts do you have about the scorpion and the frog?
Oh, the scorpion and the frog.
That's my favorite.
It's a nice little story. Okay,
Yeah.
So here's the story of the scorpion and the frog. All right, so there's a frog who's in the water and he talks to a scorpion. The scorpion says, "Hey, can you take me across this pond?" Right? And so he goes, "You're a scorpion though, aren't you gonna bite me?" No, I'm not gonna bite you. I'm gonna go ahead and I just need to ride across the pond. That's it, right? And so the scorpion convinces the frog to swim them across the pond. So the scorpion obviously gets on top of the frog, and then right before they get to the end, of course, the scorpion does what scorpions do. The scorpion gets scared, bites the frog, and now the frog unfortunately has a bad time. The scorpion gets away. And so the story about the scorpion and the frog is if it looks like a scorpion, it's probably gonna bite, right? And so it's one of the great lessons. There's also, walks like a duck, talks like a duck is a similar story, but the scorpion and the frog, is a similar story, a little different angle on it. So that's the story of the scorpion and the frog. Thank you, Shani, behind the scenes. And yep, that's it. That's the story of the scorpion and the frog. What do you think about that story, Alejandra?
I like it. Sometimes we just need a reminder, some people are exactly what they look
What
like.
about houses? What about houses?
Yeah.
How does that look in a house?
Talk
to me about remodeled houses.
Remodeled houses.
And the scorpion and the frog.
They look very pretty, but sometimes they have really bad issues. Mostly when you look at the age of the home. You got to take that into consideration for sure.
something I look at whenever I'm looking at remodeled houses is I look at the workmanship. So if I see that, that the tile, for example, was installed incorrectly, or if I see that the baseboards didn't get taken out before the tile went in, or whenever I see shortcuts in a property, for me, that's always a red flag, because I always wonder if they took a shortcut on the things that are very visible, what happened to the pipes?
Yeah.
What did they do to the electrical system that we can't see? What's gonna happen to the AC unit that they didn't, replace or they fixed, right? And so that's a quick tip for everybody
And
when
that's
you're
why
looking
it's
at houses.
important to get inspections.
It is important to get inspections and pay attention to the details. Pay attention to the stingers. If you see a scorpion, there's a reason why you're seeing the scorpion.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna bite you. Stay away. So that's that. Alejandra, you're, you always do the books. I know that you're always into motivational messages with your tea time with Ale. Can you shed some light for us on some books or
So we just finished One Truth by John Gordon. That was a very nice book. It had a lot of religious connections to it. I know that me and you felt pretty closely on how religion, how we were growing up. Religion played a big role when we were growing up. And this book made me feel like religion isn't really what... It gave me a different perspective on religion. It just made me feel like maybe I've been looking at it the wrong way. Sometimes when you grow up, you go through some things and you just don't know necessarily why the reasons are, and you get resentment towards religion, or you're just trying to find a reason why towards that situation. And now reading this book made me feel like, okay, maybe it's not religion, because religion, having a relationship with God is personal. It's not going to church. So that was just what I got out of the book, and that was one of the biggest points for me. If you're not religious, you can read the beginning of the book and you won't hit the religion part until the very end. But it was a really good book. John Gordon is a great writer.
So just to summarize, so pretty much, and I know we've talked about this off camera, of course, but so just to recap, so you were kind of feeling a certain way about religion, like, I don't really like religion too much. Not into faith, not into a higher power anymore. Like, it's just not my thing. So what about this book made you change that feeling? Like, what changed there? Like, where's that connection?
It just made it made me feel like there was different ways to have a connection with God. Sometimes it's nice to have like a higher power. In my case, what made it stand out was it's not what everyone else thinks. It's not about church. It's not about, it's more a one-on-one relationship.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I mean, for me, the way that I saw it is it connected it to productivity. So a lot of times, having something that you look at that's not just material, or it's not like in your face, gives you more of a purpose, and it gives you, and for me, I never connected, having a faith or having a type of faith with being successful. And I think that this book, one of the things that it talks about is frequencies and operating at a high frequency or a low frequency. And so I think that one of the points that it made is that those who have a faith usually operate at a higher frequency, because they're not just looking at materialistic, or they're not just looking at things that you can see in plain sight, and so it gives more purpose. So I loved it. That was amazing, Alejandra. Well, can you give anybody else any other tips, or how do we close this baby out?
We'll see you in the next one.
All right, we'll see you in the next one, guys. Thank you for watching.